So I couldn't help noticing I lost some followers. Maybe it was my emotional video. I just want to make it very clear. It's not equal sort of battle between two people that are misunderstood. It's violent terrorism that pushes an ideology of violence. I mean, the Israeli side is the one who rescues dogs for the most part. I think to be an Arab person who rescues animals and stand for peace is a very dangerous game. And I'm sure there are a lot of people that don't want violence but are just afraid to speak up because there's just so much violence in the world of the Muslim Arabs in the Middle East that they just can't speak out. It's not that simple. There's no free speech in the Palestinian territories, and people who don't want a war can't say no. A 13-year-old Palestinian shot two people, a father and a son, and in Jerusalem, in archaeological garden. I was there. It has archaeological artifacts of King David. What the hell was a 13-year-old doing with a gun targeting Jews? That is so horrible. And unfortunately, he was shot dead because he was shooting, and you have to stop him from shooting. This is their heroes. 13-year-old boy, to send a 13-year-old boy to target people just because they're Jews. Not to fight an army, to fight civilians. While our army, the Israeli army, targets terrorists. They don't target civilians. They target terrorists. It's just not fair that we have to go to the bomb shelters because of rockets from Gaza, and people say, it's just two sides fighting. No, it's not. It's a very violent world where there's no tolerance for anyone who's not an identical copy of extreme Islam. It's about time the Arabs wake up from their slumber, because it's also they are going to be targeted because they think they could just escape to the Western world and leave behind their dysfunctional societies where, you know, I feel sorry more for the Arabs that have to live in Palestinian territories under a regime that is so corrupt that it doesn't care about anything, not about education, not about health, not about promoting their people, but only killing Jews. That's it. That's their agenda. Killing Jews. That's it. That's what they want to do. So, to all those writing ignorant comments, like I saw so many ignorant comments, people don't realize it's not that there are two equal sides. One side doesn't hold values of murdering people just because of their ethnic origin. And however the media tries to distort it and make it look like that, it's not an equal game. It is not an equal game. Because one side holds other values like education, although our education system is bad, but promoting a better future, developing things in art, creativity, free speech is allowed. And people are demonstrating for that actually. Tonight there was supposed to be a demonstration. I don't know if it will continue. Fighting that we will remain a liberal society, and there's no way Israel will not be a liberal society. It will just be more difficult for it to be a liberal society. But we'll never get even. There's no way we can get close to what's going on in the Palestinian territories, where there's really no human rights for women, LGBT, animals. They all have to be rescued basically from themselves. I just am so horrified. A 21-year-old, a 13-year-old sent on a murder mission. How can a mother celebrating the fact that her two sons chose to be terrorists, and instead of giving up and going into jail, they fought and tried to kill the Israeli soldiers trying to capture them? See, celebrating murder of 7 Jews who were going to a synagogue, 7 Jews living in a very not affluent part of the city, and occupying Jerusalem and calling it occupied. Completely distorted. The one who are occupying are the Muslims, not the Jews. Jews built this city. Jews were thrown out of that city and came back again and again. And it's just not possible that Jews will ever give up on the only center for Judaism, spiritual center, Jerusalem, that has been built by Jews, just because some Muslims come over and say, we want everything. We want Mecca and Medina, and we also want Jerusalem. Why? How many religious centers do you need? I don't blame Islam. I blame the silence of Muslims. 1 billion people. And I don't see condemnation. I hear the United Arab Emirates were condemning, Turkey was condemning, but where are the Israeli Arabs condemning? Where are the Israeli Arab parliament members condemning? No, it's not okay to think that killing terrorists is the same as killing civilians praying in a synagogue. It's just not the same. A person who wants to murder other people and a person who's praying in a synagogue is not the same. And just, if you think Palestinians are so nice, why don't you look how they treat animals? I mean, even Arabs that rescue animals are such a minority, and they suffer so much because there's so much ignorance. Just like there is ignorance also amongst certain sectors in Israeli society, I have to say, that think that animals are just things and objects. But at least in Israel, there is a wider support for animal rights and human rights. Whereas when you are an Arab rescuing animals or helping people that are marginalized in society, you're such a small minority. Sad. I'm sad that there are people that don't condemn murder and celebrate it, and people that think that torturing animals is okay, that animals are objects, that it's okay to use them in dog fights. And I've seen horrific. Today I went to the dog beach. I saw a dog that has deep scars. Somebody threw acid on it. And while it could have been not necessarily Arabs, so many dogs are rescued in horrific situations from the Palestinian territories. And it's really sad. It's tragic how animals and young people are treated by the Palestinians. They just self-sabotage everything. How can you raise children in a society like that? Terrible.